Hi, guys. This is Nick with the Nick and Adam Show. I just want to thank you guys so much for all the support you guys have given us so far. You guys have been amazing. With every video, we're trying to do better and get better. Sometimes what happens though is we run into some technical issues, like with our Eternals review, where we end up having a lot of bad video. But Adam, I had a really good conversation, not just about the Eternals, but a couple other things as well. So we decided to push forward. We're gonna upload the video anyway. Just you won't see very much of us. So hope you guys enjoy. And once again, thank you guys for all the support. You guys have been amazing. Thank you. And I'm gonna start some music.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Here
Well,
we go, folks.
welcome to the Nick and Adam Show. This is episode number 4. Today we are talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, and we are giving you our completely spoiler-filled Eternals review. So,
Totally spoilers. Nothing but spoiled Eternals movie.
so if you haven't seen it, may not want to watch it, but if you haven't seen it and you don't plan on going to see it, or if you want to actually get our takes on it, stick around. So, Adam,
Yes, sir.
we are going into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I like going into the Spider-Verse because there's it's a fun place to be.
Well, I'm happy that finally Sony's opening up the Spider-Verse like someone should have, because that was my complaint with Venom, where I'm like, how do you have a Venom movie without him being in the Spider-Verse? So, but they're finally, after 2 movies, joining it all together. So,
Yeah, there was I had a friend today at work. He said to me, he says, "Well, I don't understand how all the other actors are in the movie." I'm like, "Dude, it's a multiverse, multiverse. I've been telling you that for months." And he's like, "Yeah, but why would he look different? If it's a multiverse, like, wouldn't it just be the same guy making different choices?" I was like, "You gotta let that go." I said, "Because the Flash movie's gonna come out and they're doing the same thing. So you just gotta let that go. This is for you. This is a gift. So this is a gift for all of us. This is a good thing."
that's where it reminds me of that episode of Futurama where they go and everything was based off the flip of a coin. So that's why when they go into the other universe, Bender's gold. So, spoilers, Bender in the other universe. When he flipped the coin, it was either, I forget what was it, like gunmetal gray or gold. And so that's why there's different color Benders in the Futurama other universes. But that's not quite a good explanation for the multiverse. But
Yeah.
one of the things that is rumored is there's not going to be not one Spider-Man, not 2 Spider-Man, but 3
Three
possible.
Spider-Man.
They're gonna try and bring them all together, if not even maybe the animated Spider-Man from the
Oh, really? I didn't hear
maybe
about
I
that.
don't know.
Oh, well, I guess it could happen.
Totally could happen.
I'm not joking. You're gonna start laughing right now, but I'm not joking when I say this. Okay.
All right, make sure I'm not drinking.
Yep.
So
All right. Well, but it would be cool if they brought Spider Pig or Spider Ham in.
that's what I said. I was like, if they start opening up the whole thing, why not?
Yeah, Peter Porker, like totally, like that would be awesome. Like and I remember Spider Ham from when I was a kid. Like my older brother gave me Spider Ham comics and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's just, I was thrilled. I was thrilled I had a comic book in my hand, to tell you the truth. But the fact that Spider Man was a pig. I loved it. And then John Mulaney's got to do his voice. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen some stand-up comedy with John Mulaney.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's hysterical, dude. He's one of my favorites. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I hope we get Toby, dude. I really hope we get Andrew Garfield. And this movie comes out at Christmas, so I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying you got to do part 2, but you really need to see Amazing Spider-Man before this movie comes out, just in case Andrew Garfield is in it. Because man, it is fucking gold, dude.
Yeah, not confirming anything, but that's the rumors they're kicking around. Also, I don't think they're going to do it this movie, but eventually you're going to get Miles Morales.
Oh, I hope we do. Miles Morales is everything we talk about, everything you and I talk about. Make a new character. instead of like race swapping or washing or whatever they call it, and how they gender swap and all this kind of stuff. Okay, cool. He's got the same powers as Spider-Man, but he's not Peter Parker. He's his own thing. He's his own character. And the Prowler is his uncle, and tries to manipulate him. He does. In the comic book, he didn't want anything to do with being the superhero. It was when Peter Parker died that he said, "Oh man, I gotta take over."
Yeah, so I'm excited because, like I said, eventually they're going to bring in the Sinister Six, and it's
Sure.
especially with they had Venom, and we talked about with the Morbius trailer. So they've got Morbius now. They've got, help me out here. Who else they have? So
Oh, Doc Ock. They got
Doc Ock,
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin.
Um, the last one would be the Vulture.
Yeah, so
Or is that 5?
not sure. Well, also then they have Mysterio sneaking at the end of the trailer as well.
Oh, they did.
So
They showed old Fishbowl. Yep.
so also this has not been confirmed. This has been on the rumor mill because John Campia, who leaked the photos, he put his watermark on them and then leaked them, might have Mr. Matt Murdock.
Oh, that would be it.
Not
That would just
confirmed,
be
but
it.
that's strictly rumors right now. Because I know there's been backlash where he's been Sony's very upset at him right now. So
They're upset with Campia. Or are they upset with Murdoch? I mean,
Campia.
John Cox. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So is this all show? I don't know. We'll find out. But like I said, we're gonna find out right around Christmas time. So can't wait. Definitely on the list to go see. And I think this is going to be a nice boost for the Hollywood because they need a hit, frankly.
Yeah, they do. Well, to be fair, I mean they've gotten a hit through Venom. I'm not. I don't know why, but people are going to see that movie. It broke box office records, not just like pandemic type box office records, but it broke normal box office records for
Right.
what it is.
But
And
but not what Marvel is used to, as far as
no.
So
Well, not what Sony's used to at all.
right. And I think that's what this will be, the hopefully get back a little bit on track. And because I think especially after Shang-Chi didn't do so hot, Black Widow didn't do so hot, and I know a lot of people are saying, superhero fatigue is setting in. So we'll see.
It isn't.
Or maybe it's just because certain movies weren't very good. So we'll find out.
Well, I mean, also like I don't think we just came off of like all these shutdowns worldwide,
Right.
And you would think people are gonna go back to the movies in droves, but not necessarily. And you gotta have a good story to bring them out there. It's not like they were like, okay, everybody, the movies are open right now, and finally you get to see Avengers Endgame.
No, and I'll speak for myself. We're the first movie we went and saw since the pandemic and everything was the Carnage movie.
Okay.
So we're slowly getting back into it, and obviously we went and saw Eternals that we're going to talk about here very shortly. But I think people are slowly starting to get back out there and starting to, like I said, just slowly starting to get back to a little bit of normal. So
yeah, they're going to games now. They're going to football games and things like that. You brought up John Campia. He was talking about this today, and he said, well, it was because Disney Plus didn't achieve as many subscriptions as they projected. They projected to achieve 10 million, but they only got 2. But you got to think, Campia made a good point when he said that their massive startup and then massive growth. People were at home because they couldn't go anywhere else, and they were watching TV. Now people are going out and doing stuff.
Well, and also a lot of people, I don't do this very often. I know a lot of people, as soon as they're done with the show, they cancel that subscription until the next show.
Yeah.
So, they binge for a little while, and then it's you know, shut it off until you got something else for me. So,
Yeah.
so all right, are we ready? Ready to get into it?
You're talking about the news about Mr. Stockwell?
Yep. Poor Mr. Dean Stockwell, one of my
Poor-
favorites. I would say he passed away. He's 85 years old.
Yeah, I know.
He passed away this past Sunday. I know you were a big Quantum Leap fan.
Big time. You know, that was it was a bright spot of my childhood. I'd lay in bed awake, but they'd make me go to bed, except for the days Quantum Leap was on, which I think was a Wednesday. So,
Dean Stockwell, he played John Cavill not most recently, but most recently in the show that I care about was in Battlestar Galactica back in when it finished up in 2004. He played one of the Cylons. Absolutely loved his character, and if you know anything about the Cylons in the new Battlestar Galactica, that there's several versions of them, and just the way he was able to juggle all the different versions of, because there'd be certain scenes where he'd literally be having conversations with himself, and I'm just like, I could watch this all day. So.
yeah. It gets like that with shows that you love, that you passionately love and stuff, you know? So I totally get it. I totally get it.
All right.
But we are grateful to have had him, and the world is a lesser place without him. But he touched our hearts, and he came into our lives on a daily basis. So love you. Godspeed.
Godspeed, Mr. Stockwell. So, all right, Adam, let's get into it. The Eternals review,
Eternals,
or just as Eternals, because there's no the.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because every time I went to go search for it, I was just like, oh, it's just Eternals, not the Eternals. So, all right. So Jack Kirby's Eternals debuted in 1976 with Eternals #1, and the story that the movie's based off is the Neil Gaiman and John Romita run of the Eternals from 2006 to 2007. Runtime of 2 hours and 36 minutes. So not a short movie, but it did 71 million domestic, 107 million domestic, 170 million worldwide. It's directed by Chloe Zhao, and she is an Oscar winner for her latest movie, Nomadland. So this movie stars Gemma Chan as Cersei, Richard Madden as Icarus, who I will refer to as not Superman.
There you go.
Angelina Jolie plays Thena. Salma
not
Hayek,
Wonder Woman.
Not Wonder Woman. Salma Hayek as Ajax. She has healing and celestial communication. Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo. Leah McHugh as Sprite. Brian Tyree Henry as Festos. Lauren Ridloff as Makiri. Barry Keoghan as Druid. Keoghan, Keoghan.
Really, that guy's name is Keoghan?
Yep. So
okay.
his character's name is Druig, not Druid. Madan Siok as Gilgamesh. Haresh Patel as Charon, he plays Kingo's sidekick. And Bill Skarsgård plays Crow, the deviant leader. So
Crow, the deviant leader. Yeah, that took a long time to say.
Right.
You know what I mean? What a cast. I was thinking about it today, though. One thing that I didn't like initially. I agreed with you about it's hard to balance that much of a cast, and Chloe Zhao. I think she did a fairly good job of leaving the the characters who weren't as important to the furthering of the story. And then I thought, that's a good opportunity to make like solo movies or something, or put those characters in other movies like Druig and Makari. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. So the Eternals are basically the tools of Celestials. They were created to protect humanity from the deviants, who were also created to protect humanity. But the deviants evolved and ended up basically killing everything. So They had to
Right.
create the Eternals to go in and keep humanity safe from the deviants. So they appear about 7,000 years ago, and they arrived on the Domo, which is their spaceship, or as some people say, the giant Kit Kat. I didn't say that, but other people did.
The giant Kit Kat, that
Yeah,
triangle.
yeah. I don't know. I think they were trying to make a joke. I was like, I thought it looked like a big wedge. So that's what.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, if anything, it looks like half of Ghirardelli chocolate.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if we're gonna go properly, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's just not make
yeah.
stuff up. So, but they fought the deviants for thousands of years, and over the years, eventually the Eternals went their separate ways. Phastos they show leaving after the Battle of Hiroshima. Phastos' power is basically he can invent whatever he wants, and he basically whatever he invents, he gives off to humanity, and he just kind of gives it as a gift to them.
And they
And
move forward with their
right,
evolution.
but obviously, humans being humans, they use it for bad instead of good, because they also have another scene earlier with the conquistadors, and that's where really Druig starts to get frustrated with humanity, where they're, and this is where I got frustrated a little bit because they start blaming Fastos for, oh, you invented guns and gunpowder, and look what they're doing, and it's like, well, it's not his fault, you know.
Well, no,
And
no.
but Druig got frustrated because Druig's power is basically mind control, and he wanted
Mhm.
to stop the massacre, and basically everybody's like, no, no, you can't do that. So he got frustrated, and then Cersei and Icarus went their separate ways. They were lovers through the millennia, but eventually they separated. And then Thena's character got the. Let me see. I make sure I have the correct term here. It is the Mad Weary,
Mad Weary.
Mad Weary.
Thank you.
So it's a psychological affliction that Eternals suffered from as a result of the vast amount of memories they acquired due to their immortality. This affliction leads to the suffering eternal, forgetting when exactly they are in time, making them potentially dangerous to others around them. And that's what happened. She started attacking everybody, and Gilgamesh said, "Yeah, we're going to get out of here." And they basically went to Australia into seclusion, and basically he was just there to take care of, make sure that she didn't hurt herself. So
The
we got
Eternals are there to destroy these deviants who evolved, and
right,
they're gonna eat the human beings, so they're there to protect them. But what they don't know is they're protecting the human beings so that they overpopulate the planet, and there's enough energy to give birth to this little thing that another celestial that the planet is impregnated with. And only Ajax finds out the truth, which is Selma Hayek, and she shares it with not Superman, and not Superman being in love with Cersei's. He's married to her, can't stay with her, and he leaves her because he can't stand lying to her, but he can't tell her the truth because he knows how she'll react.
right.
Yeah,
So Ereshkigal, who's basically God at this point. He's the main celestial.
he's the first one, right?
Yeah, he's the main celestial, and he basically sent out all these seeds throughout the entire universe. Throughout all the galaxies, everywhere, and these seeds implant themselves in the planets. And once, like Anne was saying, once there's enough life to sustain it, basically it's a cocoon for another celestial. And once they emerge, they basically destroy the planet. But what celestials do is they create more solar systems and more life, and to create basically the cycle of life.
I was just going to say it, the cycle of life. Yeah, and how unfair, like when they're born, they don't give a shit about Jupiter.
Well, it's just a big gas giant, so
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just kidding around. I'm just kidding around. Wouldn't that be? Well, never mind. How could you? You wouldn't impregnate Jupiter. There's no people there,
right,
so right.
right. No life there, so
Yeah, not very fertile ground, so to speak.
So, but also one of the things they acknowledge is Thanos and
Why didn't you guys help fight Thanos or any war, all the other terrible things throughout history?
the Eternals were not allowed to get involved with humanity because the only thing that they can get involved in is threats from deviants.
Yeah, this is a plot hole though, unless Arishem is completely all knowing and he knew that, the Avengers were going to, snap everybody back. Unless he knew that and had, I would lean towards he would have had the Eternals get involved in something like that, or he might have smited Thanos himself. But still, for the sake of what it is, I don't like that. I don't like that about the movie. It's not because I'm being too picky. It's too much of a cop out. They could have just.
It's too easy.
We didn't give a shit. That'd been fine.
It's a gloss over. That's what it is. It's just let's write this in and just gloss right over, and we're moving on. So.
And there's a couple different ways you could have wrote it that were just as simple.
Sure.
But that would have honored the story a little bit more. They could have just said, something along the lines of, well, I don't know, but there's a couple different ways you could have done it.
Well, also part of it, the way they explain it is since he snapped away half of life, then that stopped essentially all emergences at one time.
Yeah, it delayed him.
It
delayed.
Right. So it delayed him until, and that's also how they write in how Ajax and them start to more fall in love with humanity is when they snapped everything back. They didn't just snap back humanity; they snapped back everything back that Thanos snapped away.
Yes, everything.
So Icarus, aka not Superman, learns about the emergence, and it's basically a long section in the middle of the movie of getting the band back together.
Yep. They get the band back together, and people have they're happy to see each other.
Well, and that's one of the things I'll say that they did well is they really made it seem like a family environment. So yeah, you can tell when they get back together, it's like, just like with a good friend, you just fall right back into the old rhythm of things. So
and how. But I think I agree with you. I think the family structure, the family feel, they did very well. There was not only two things, but the main another two things that I didn't like was not more of Salma Hayek and not more Angelina Jolie in her sane mind. However, the way they utilize the characters, their characters in particular, as like significant plot points, I will say was really good. And there's no wonder why I do thoroughly enjoy the movie at its core, like the Celestial or like Arishem sending out all of those seeds. And then the seeds destroy the planet, they become other Celestials, and then the circle of life goes on. Because if that's based, you just educated me, if that's based off of Neil Gaiman writing, then that's why I like it. Because, I'm halfway through Sandman in the books. I haven't picked it up in over a year, but wow, that's a journey, buddy.
Right. So they go through time, or not through time. They basically have a week to get the band back together.
A week, okay.
Oh, 6 days, right? Or because when Icarus finds out, they've got 6 or 7 days to get it together. So
I'm bad at that. I miss that whole, like, when they say something like that in a movie, I'm like, okay, was that a day or two that went by? Masters of the Universe, I was watching an action figure review on the Revelations figures, and they're like, so then the show time jumps 10 years into the future. I'm like, it does?
Like,
I thought this was like 3 months away.
Where was I?
Yeah. So whether it does or it doesn't, I don't know. That guy could be wrong. So okay, so they got a week to get the band back together. They do get the band back together. They discover Ajax's body.
Right, discover Ajax's body. They think it's one of the deviants. Everybody assumes it's the deviants. but eventually they find out it was spoilers.
Not
Icarus.
Superman.
Icarus, not Superman.
I don't wear a cape.
But it's very important to point out too that when they found her body, when they found Ajax's body, Selma Hayek's, she chose Circe's to succeed her because there's this orb in her neck or her clavicle, collarbone area that comes out and it goes into Circe's, and now she can communicate directly with Arishem.
I would say that is the Celestials' communication. So,
Yeah, it is. It's how they talk. I would have went for a Starfleet badge, but okay.
right? I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Apparently, seriously.
Kirk Enterprise.
So anyway, and the way that they structure it is Icarus, Kingo, and Sprite.
Oh, Kingo. Yeah, I love Kingo.
So they all pretty much say, no, we're sticking with the program because Ajax and Circe and the rest of them, they say, oh, we don't want the emergence to happen because we love humanity. We don't want all these people to die. Right? Essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if it's similar to the fall of the angels in the Bible. You know what I mean? You had, well, hey, wait a minute, we don't agree with this either, but I'm not gonna disobey the one that I serve and the one that I love. You know what I mean? And they're talking about Arishem at that time. If this is his plan, then this is his plan, and I'll see you on the next planet. And then I really like Kingo, right?
Yes.
Because he's like, I don't want any part of this. I don't want any part of this at all, but I don't have to kill the people I love in order to prove that I don't. I'm out, and you don't see him again. That hit me so hard. I mean, that was like, you talk about love and tolerance. That's it right there.
Yes. So basically it turns into it's a rush to get to where the emergence is taking place. They send Makiri out because she's the speedster. She goes out and her thing also, she senses the vibrations of things. So she goes out, finds out where the emergence is taking place, get everybody going over there, and that's where our final battle takes place. And part of the thing that gets left behind is Crow, our baddie, who we thought was bad, and we're like, well, no, sorry, we have a god, an emerging god to deal with here. So I thought that was kind of weird, where your villain is kind of now like, you're barely on the radar right now. So
yeah, just when you thought the Marvel formula wasn't there, it sure was, because this bad guy means nothing. So
right. So and then it turns into, so you have Circe, you've got Phastos, Makiri, Druig, and not Gilgamesh. No, because Gilgamesh,
he got killed.
He got killed earlier.
Yep.
So that
He got killed earlier
when they were going to get Druig, and he died trying to, so that they could get Druig. And okay, so
how about the scene where Icarus and Festos, right? I'm saying that right?
Phastos, yeah.
Festus. Where Festus is like, oh, I've been trying to clip your wings for years. You're going up. I don't care how tough or strong you are. You were going up against like the guy the smartest guy in the universe at that point, and he not only did he take him, he took him without throwing a single damn punch.
Yeah, and that was one of the things people brought up, where they weren't sure where that line came from, but when you're basically Superman, there's always you need to be taken down a peg or two. So
yeah,
and especially the way Phastos was basically blamed for almost everything that he did. The only good thing that he basically did in the movie was give humanity the plow. So
Wow.
he wanted to give him the locomotive engine, and then he said, no, it's too advanced. He's like, fine, here's a plow. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
Because they blamed him for giving him humanity guns, and then they blamed him for giving him nuclear fission for Hiroshima, and it's like,
Well, he blamed himself for, or you're saying the writers?
right.
Okay.
The more the writers, and also the combination of, I know Druig and some of the others were giving Fastos crap because, he's like, I'm not a fortune teller, I just make things.
I'm serving my purpose.
I'm doing things with the best of intentions, which, I mean, who hasn't had that happen where you do things with the best of intentions and things blow up in your face. So
Oh yeah. You see this scar? See that? It doesn't hurt so much here, but here.
I said, it doesn't hurt so much here or here, but here. Oh.
Exactly. I thought that was good writing though, about the Hiroshima thing. And that hit a nerve, because I mean, if you invent something and then somebody else falls into the wrong hands and somebody else kills millions of people with it, that's got to sting.
Well, and what's the scientist's name? I forget the scientist's name, or basically, goes, I've become death, right? So it's kind of in the same line with what Fastos feels. Is like, oh, I've just given humanity something to kill on a unimaginable scale. That's not what was supposed to happen. that was supposed to be good for energy, not for killing millions of people. So anyway, we get to basically the volcano scene, where that's where they find out that's where the emergence is taking place, and we have our big battle, and eventually Icarus turns back, and they what's the Unimind?
Oh, the Unimind.
The Unimind. So the Unimind that Fastos helps produce, the Unimind basically uses all their energy together so they can actually battle the emergence. So
yeah, I thought that the fact that they that all worked out. Now, do you think Sprite was trying to kill Circe when she came up and stabbed her, or do you think she's trying to slow her down?
Well, here's the thing. When you stab someone in the back, usually, and that's kind of one of those things where I'm like,
literally,
she literally stabbed her in the back where, the knife was sticking out, and she just makes it water, and it goes through. And I'm like, so we're just not acknowledge that you have a gaping wound through your torso. And that was just kind of glossed over, and be like, oh, apparently she's fine. Apparently she just gets stabbed all the time, and that's not an issue.
I mean, well, if she can't, well, wait a minute, we can't say that. Two Eternals died in it. I was like, well, she can't die, but that's not true either.
Right.
It's just a flesh wound, like in Monty Python.
Yeah, essentially, she just, oh, it's cool, I'm fine. I'm like, oh, because no, you were literally just stabbed.
You just got stabbed in the back,
the
tummy.
Yeah, but that's fine.
I can see the Subway sandwich you ate for lunch.
Right. But through all that, Circe lays her hands on the celestial being birthed. Do we know the name do we remember the name of it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like, it's on the tip of my tongue. That's what I can say about it.
I'll put it on a graphic here for you. But basically, she turns the emerging celestial into rock.
Yeah.
And and yay, Eternals win. Icarus goes and does what Icarus does, which I'm not sure how I feel about that still, but
he finally flew too close to the sun. Because it was a story that Sprite made up.
Yeah, Sprite made up. I mean, there's flying too close to the sun, and then there's flying right into it. So
yeah, he flew right into it.
Flew right into that sucker. But
it would be funny if he was still alive.
And that's the thing, because now is he dead? Does he go in, or is he just kind of chilling on the sun, walking on the sun with Smash Mouth and just relaxing until whatever happens. So
So delayed. Act now. Walking on sunshine.
so and
And I
then
killed the Celestial.
what is it, a couple weeks later, they have Arishem comes to take back some of the Eternals. He doesn't take back all the Eternals. He
He
takes
takes back the rebels.
he takes back the rebels and basically says, I'm going to go through your thoughts and we're going to see if, to judge
These
humanity.
humans are worthy.
Right.
How gorgeous though was that shot of
Oh, I love that
Arishem
shot.
looking into the world, like, and then you see where he is relative to it, like, and he's miles away from it. You know what I mean?
No, the way that they did that for scaling, I was like, that was the shot. I go, oh, that's good. That's good stuff
Yeah.
right there.
That was worth the price of admission alone, ladies and gentlemen.
So
that was cool.
that's
Flat out.
that's pretty much the movie. So let's get into the nitty gritty. So one of the things that I did love is, like we were just talking about, the way they brought in the Celestials, and actually, I think they got the gravitas, the scale, like they're just unimaginably huge creatures.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the cool things that I know. That was one of the things that people were saying, oh, it's going to be really hard to do the story with, showing these Celestials and just getting just the scale, just how big they are, how they're just, unimaginably large, huge, whatever word you want to use. I'll go through the thesaurus later for big words, but it's just to get the scale of them correct where it doesn't look cartoonish, right?
The only thing that looked cartoonish about that movie was the mid-credit scene when they showed the little imp.
Your buddy
That looked like Shrek graphics, but it was Patton Oswalt, so I won't hate on it at all.
right?
But yeah, man, the sheer effort it took to put into that scale, it was just incredible. The whole world could see him. And it looked very believable. Very believable.
It was just kind of funny. We're like, all the, not in the know people are like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's a giant that's new. Yep, haven't seen that before.
I wonder I wonder how the world would react to something like that. Do you think about, well, then none of this. Yeah. Go out and vote in this. No. What? Who's going to take care of that guy?
Right.
Well,
I just think of Tommy Lee Jones and Men in Black, where it's like, a person's smart, people are dumb, panicky, and stupid, and you know it.
yeah, it's true. Very true.
But one of the things that I'll have to admit, I didn't want to like this movie, because it plays on some of my fears, and they were realized. It's woke. As woke as all get out. They used a 10-person cast to, race swap, gender swap, as much as they possibly could to check every box as much as possible. And they even worked in, climate change into the movie, where that's where they thought that they had taken care of the deviants, and then, the ice caps, thawed, and look, some deviants were still there. And that was one of the things too. I mean, you play the deviants as bad guys, but every single time they fought, it was literally no match. There was no match for the Eternals versus any of the deviants.
Until the deviants, what was it, arrived in the year 2021, all of a sudden they were like 10 times stronger and all this kind of stuff.
Well, they evolved, right? Evolved and stole Eternals' powers.
Yeah, they evolved and they stole Eternals' powers, but I mean, they were frozen in ice. You can't evolve very much being frozen in ice. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they took the super soldier serum. Maybe, I don't know. All I can tell you is that that was a plot hole. Can you hear my cat?
Yeah, it's fine. No worries, though.
What's that?
Yeah, it's no problem.
Okay. Just making sure, because the door is closed. That's how loud he gets.
But one of the things that I was frustrated with was our buddy Kingo. Kumail Nanjiani, he put out a tweet saying, before the when just the reviews were just coming out, that the tweet basically said, "Oh well, we're upsetting the right people." Be like, dude, this is where I get frustrated with one, Hollywood, and two, people in comic book movies. This entire movie was marketed as being diverse and inclusive as possible. And I, being a comic book fan, I have not collected comics during the whole time, but I've always supported comic books. The comic book community has been one of the most supportive for inclusivity and diversity that I know of.
Very much so.
So when we have Hollywood going, oh, we need to make it more inclusive and diverse, be like, we've been doing that the entire time. You haven't been here. We've been here.
That's true. That's totally true. I mean, you can go back. I mean, if you want to talk about inclusivity of gay people, there's the Wonder Twins from the early '80s. They wrote them gay in the comic books. North Star from Alpha Flight.
Well, I collected more Image stuff, and with all the Image titles that were coming out, with all the characters that were being created, there was a lot. I'm not going to say like a ton, but there was a lot of gay people, gay characters, and guess what? Didn't care. There's a lot of characters of color, didn't care. And I wanted good stories, and I wanted good stories, and I wanted good art. That's what I wanted in my comic books, and that's what I collected. It didn't.
Exactly.
I didn't care what the sexual orientation was. I didn't care what color the superhero was. I wanted good stories, and that's what the average comic book collector wants.
Well, the Image back then in the '90s, they delivered too on that. They really did. And then you bring up characters of color. This is what upsets me, is that you have awesome black superheroes, and instead of putting them on the big screen, you're just going to take a white superhero and make him black. To me, that's like pandering at its best. That's saying, like, what is that saying about the character that was created 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago during a civil rights movement? What does that say about the intellectual property that you own right there?
Well, not only that, sorry to cut you off, but it's like, hey, black community, here's a character. It's not original. It's used. It's 40 years old.
Exactly.
Here's a hand-me-down.
Exactly. It's a load of crap. And where's Mr. Terrific? You know what I mean? He had him in Arrow, but whatever. I mean, on the big screen. I'm talking about the big screen. Where's Mr. Terrific? Where's Vixen? What was the what was the one that made me really mad? We were getting a Green Lantern show on HBO
right.
Max, and it's Guy fucking Gardner, like the worst example of a white guy in the fucking whole comic book universe. He checks all of these boxes: toxic masculinity, arrogance, pride, and just very difficult to work around and work with. And
so unlikable.
He's an unlikable character, okay? And yet, we got John Stewart, Green Lantern, created by the great Neil Adams, who, to be fair, if you are in your 20s or 30s right now and you grew up watching the Justice League animated show, that's your Green Lantern. That John Stewart, that's your Green Lantern.
Right.
Not Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan's a little bit more ours because they did a lot with his character and stuff like that. And by the time we were teenagers, we kind of missed the boat on the John Stewart years until the reimagining or the resurgence. But it got Guy Gardner. That should never have happened. That should never have happened. I mean, dude, they could have picked a fucking puppy to play the Green Lantern instead of Guy Gardner. Anything. But, you got one of the greatest characters in comic book history riding the sidelines right now. That's blood pressure's going up. It is.
So,
that's stupid.
So
that is stupid.
so getting back to the Eternals.
Right.
So, and I know we talked earlier about how my big concern, and I know you mentioned earlier, was giving Chloe Zhao the borderline impossible task of here's 10 characters, make everybody care about these characters and give them all good stories and basically make us love them. Right. And
Right.
I think she did okay at it.
Yeah, I do too.
Certain aspects she did okay with it, because I know one of the hardest things to do is to juggle a big cast. And I know, and I always think back to like Joss Whedon on Firefly and shows like that, where you got 9 characters and they're all, diverse, and they all need their own stories. They all need their backstories. They all need storylines. They all need all this together. And the one way they really tied it all together was that family, family's important. Family, family, not Dominic Toretto, family, but family is important. So that was my Fast and Furious. That was my Vin Diesel impression. So my apologies.
No, don't apologize for that. Vin Diesel should apologize for being Vin Diesel.
That's fair. But I also said that I don't think she should get another comic book movie, and I'm wrong, because I was listening to some other podcasts, talking about the Eternals, and they mentioned a movie that I think she probably would be absolutely perfect for, and it's something that really needs to be made, and that would be a Silver Surfer movie.
Drop.
Where I think that would be, she would absolutely kill that movie, because I mean, you've got a few characters, but the main character is the lonely Silver Surfer in space.
And why not bring back Morpheus?
Lawrence
Come on.
Fishburne?
Yes. Why not bring back Lawrence Fishburne? Why? Why not?
Well, and also it leads us into Galactus, and I just really want Galactus. So.
Well, yeah. Well, he's the herald of Galactus.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
You don't get much more Galactus than that.
So, well, I'm like, it's an easy inroad. So, but they mentioned that, and I just wanted to be like, I'll admit when I'm wrong. And I was like, as soon as they said that, I was like, gosh, she'd be perfect for that. So,
yeah, I think she'd be perfect for it. I agree. Check. I mean, that's great. That's a great idea. Oh God, they should do the Silver Surfer.
But not going to say I loved everything about this movie. Because like I said, when I seen all the reviews and just a lot of the news that came out just before the movie even dropped, with people review bombing on both sides, people giving 1s and 10s for a movie that they'd never seen.
Right.
I think it's just, I hate that things just get politicized so easily, and the way they marketed with the diversity and inclusivity and actors saying that this movie's going to save lives. It's like, I love comic books and I love comic book movies, but it's not that. It's not curing any social ills. It's not curing cancer. Can we just keep a comic book movie what it is?
Was it you that talked about Kurt Russell's quote? I think he said on Twitter years ago.
I don't know
We're
if
jesters.
Yeah, he just, and I love Kurt Russell, and this made me love him even more, where he's just like, we're just jesters in life, man. We're adult pretenders. Like, we can't be taken too seriously. We pretend for a living, and hopefully people get enjoyment out of it, and that's about it. And
that's it.
And that's not, degrading actors, but when you get anybody who thinks they're that high, it's like you're just a comic book movie, and that hurts me to say, because I love comic books. I love comic book movies, and comic books and the whole realm of comic books are important because they provide escapism for people like me when you were a teen and you needed some place to go because life kind of sucked. And even today, it's just that nice little place where I can go get away from everything for a little bit and just get away from the everyday life. And when people try and drag the the part of the life I'm trying to escape into my movies, I'm just like, it's not what I need. It's not what a lot of people need. It's not what a lot of people are even looking for.
And to be fair, that movie really didn't do that. I mean,
Well, that's the thing.
It had all those boxes to check, but it wasn't in your face. It was just the plot.
No, and that was the
And
thing
it was the hype that did that.
well, right, and that I would say the way it was marketed, because they're at the premiere, they were saying it's you could literally have a ticker like inclusivity, diverse, and literally that was the keywords, and the first sex scene in a Marvel movie. Who cares? Who cares?
Right.
Don't
Right.
need that. And also, you don't need to show people that the only way that you can show love is through physical, through sex. That's not the only way that people show love in life. But all that being said, it didn't matter. That stuff did not matter. And at the end of the day, I walked out of that movie we went and saw with a couple of friends, and I'm sitting driving with my wife on the way home. I was like, that was pretty good. She's like, that was good. And we liked it. And with all that, I wanted to not like it. I wanted, all the YouTubers I watched were bagging on, and I was sitting there. I was like, yeah, it's this, it's that. And I sat there. I'm like, I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I did too.
Now,
I liked it.
that being said, it's one of those things, and one of the things a lot of people are complaining about. One, that they're complaining about being boring, and like we were talking about earlier, what some people call boring, I call slow or deliberately paced. So, but if you need action throughout an entire movie like an Avengers, it's not your movie.
But I mean, what the fuck do they want? I mean, they had to unfold the story. I don't think the movie was boring at all. I think the pacing was on the same level as Avengers. I do. I mean, it was just longer. That's all.
Well, and part of the problem is, what does everybody complain about? How formulaic Marvel movies have gotten. And they got away from the formula in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, with the exception of Crow.
Well, yeah. I mean, for the most part, they got away from most of the formula. Like we were talking before, we were like, I chalked up Marvel movies to being like Mad Libs. We're like, here's the script. Now we're just going to pencil in our hero, our villain, end credit person, and just move on.
I mean, but that is what it is. It really is.
So, but this movie didn't do that, and I think it's funny because people were complaining that Marvel movies were formulaic, and then they change it up. They go for a little bit something ambitious, and people just want to call it different and boring, which I think is unfair for the movie.
I think it's very unfair. I think this movie got an unfair shake from the start, just through its marketing. Just like you said.
Well, they did themselves no help through the marketing whatsoever, because you focus on the wrong thing. You focused on the politics of
the world we live in right now.
Of the world we live in. If you had marketed around the story, and if they had marketed that they were bringing out the Celestials, and not just like on a small scale, like if they'd have shown like even just that hint of that ending shot with Arishem, like, looking over, I forget where they were at on the planet, but if they'd have shown any part of that, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I believe they did, but it's like you said, because I remember that shot being in one of the trailers. But remember Barry's, South Park thing. But if you remember, a couple episodes ago, we were talking about the rumor that Galactus was going to be in it, and then there were freeze frames of the, it's Irishem's face, but everybody thought it might have been like Galactus's hat, you know what I mean, or his helmet, whatever it is, and nobody knew. Nobody knew what this was, and I didn't. And if everybody did know what it was, then why were we speculating that Arishem, the thing we thought was going to be Galactus, turned out to be Arishem, the Celestial?
Right.
Ask anybody 2 weeks ago, what do you think the Celestials is about? Because if you were to ask me, I don't know. I've never read it before. I don't know. But if you'd have presented a trailer that focused in on telling you a story about Celestials and a conflict, showing a conflict amongst the group, I rest my case.
Yeah. No, I'd say if you'd have gone, hey, remember those giant things in Guardians of the Galaxy? We're going there. And we're going there kind of hard.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
And especially, I mean, this opens up a whole, the whole kit and caboodle for what they were trying to open up in the third phase with Guardians of the Galaxy. So now there's the humans. Now you're putting it on such a grand scale that, I mean, it pretty much nothing's off limits now.
No, nothing is off limits now. I mean, you got a whole phase, Marvel. Let's see what you do with it. I mean, they've cast Adam Warlock now. They have so the writers for the Eternals have a entire prequel show ready to go, planned out. They want the green light and all that kind of stuff. I don't really want to see that, to tell you the truth. I want to see what happens next. That's just me though. I want to see what happens next. I want to see where Angelina Jolie and then spoilers. Remember, you guys signed up for this podcast. You guys signed up to watch today anyway. Where Angelina Jolie and Thanos' brother, Eros, goes. Caution when you look up Eros on the internet.
Learned that the hard way.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way.
Have your safety parameters on.
yeah. Or at least type in Marvel's Eros or something like that.
Anyway.
But I want to see that story, and I want to see if they find a cure for Angelina Jolie's character, because she's. I mean, I know we're joking around and say she's not Wonder Woman and all this stuff. I thought she was cooler than Icarus. I thought she was cool as fuck.
Yeah, because her thing was with the energy weapons, and she breaked out lance, swords, bows and arrows,
Right.
the whole kit and caboodle for Wonder Woman. But it's just cool to see a little bit different powers, and that's one of the things that we didn't really mention is basically all the characters have some type of cosmic powers, which also cosmic powers.
The power cosmic.
Power
Ooh.
cosmic, and then you get cosmic rays, and then you get Fantastic Four.
That's right. Yes, you do. It's clobbering time. Flame on.
So, but all right, now we got to get into the not one, but two end credit scenes, and you alluded to it earlier. Well, you didn't allude to it. You talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, with Patton Oswalt, we had Harry Styles as Eros.
Thanos' brother
/ Star Fox / the man whore of the galaxy. So he's making his appearance, and just the way that they had the music at the end, I think that's really going to lead right into Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which just started filming as well.
They got principal photography up and everything.
Just started. James Gunn just posted the first shot from the first day, just the other day. So
cool. I'm in for Guardians 3. I don't remember Guardians 2 so well, but I remember I liked it.
Guardians 2, I think everybody just loved Baby Groot at the beginning dancing. So
I didn't. That's the one thing I hate.
Well,
I hate Baby Groot.
You hate happiness. So
I don't trust joy.
So also we had a second end credit scene, and it deals with one of the guys we really didn't talk about, Kit Harington's character, Dane Whitman, also known as
the Black Knight.
The Black Knight. So,
or as they say in London, the Black Knight.
The Black Knight. Well, they actually allude to the character a little bit because they mention Excalibur and Arthurian legend, and they also said, "Oh, is that the Black Blade?" And you're like, "No, it's the Excalibur." So they kind of talk about it, a touch of foreshadowing there. But the Black Knight and you hear off camera someone
The
say
voice of
the voice saying, "Are you ready for this?" or something like that. Was it like that?
something like that. And it's Blade, right?
It's Blade.
Yes,
So
sir.
the new
The
Blade,
Daywalker.
the new Blade, and let's see if I can pull it up real quick. I can't, but the new Blade's coming out, and so they're gonna have Black Knight team up with Blade. And
Oh, is that going to be a team up movie?
looks like it.
Oh, well, yeah.
He says if we're ready. I mean, it's like I don't know if you're.
Went
I
right
don't-
over my head.
I don't know if you go over ready and then you just go your separate ways, but I mean, so I assume it's going to be at least a bit of a team up movie. So
I completely pictured it like, "Hey, I'm just here to whisper,"
Right.
and like we got Blade. I didn't even think team up. I don't know.
And
why.
I
I know why, because I got so excited about Blade, I didn't give a shit about Black Knight.
well, and also you go like, oh, I mean, it's not like Marvel to leave you hanging for no reason, right?
Right. That'd have been like at the end of what was it, Captain America: Winter Soldier, when they showed Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. That'd have been like, only gonna see one of them,
Right.
you know. That's not right.
Well, it's like when they did at the end of Galaxy Guardian or the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and they're like Adam Warlock, and you're like, oh, Adam Warlock's gonna pop up somewhere, and they're like, 5 years later, it's like, whew, it felt like they finally just cast him. It's like, oh, that was a slow burn for that one.
You want to know the crazy part about that is, like, Adam Warlock is the reason Thanos got defeated in the comics.
Well, and that's what everybody thought. They're like, oh, well, they're getting him ready to bring him in for the Avengers and all that. I mean, how many characters did they leave out? They left out basically half the Marvel Galaxy or the Marvel Universe, because that's what it took to fight Thanos. But
I mean, to be fair, though, I mean, like, they had a lot of, like, characters in that movie, though. They did well with that.
no,
They did both put them all in there. That was cool at the end.
of course, but it also, because if you read the comic, you're like, where's Warlock? Where's Adam Warlock? I'd be like, oh, he's in a cocoon. He'll be out in 5 years. Oh, well, that's not helpful.
Well, while we're at it, let's watch the Black Widow die, and she gets all the glory. I hope they bring her back somehow.
That would be nice. Well, that was the frustration with the Black Widow movie that I had, where you had so many places to go and you chose to go to this weird spot where I'm like, you literally could have gone anywhere in time and really tied some stuff together where you could have sent her to the 80s during the Cold War and had her meet up with Bucky Barnes and all that stuff. You really could have played with some characters there, and you just chose to do this really odd story.
Well, I think that with the Phase 4 starting, I think it's off to a clunky start.
Well, I'll tell you, I had next to no interest when they started announcing things for Phase 4, and I'm like, don't care. Be like, Black Widow, yeah, I mean, don't really care. She's dead. Not sure the story they're gonna go with.
Did you see it?
I did not see it, but I have to. But I follow enough.
It's really good.
I follow enough people on YouTube to be like, oh, I get the gist of it. Okay.
I mean, it's a really good movie. It's just late in the game. That's all.
It was the wrong time. The movie should have been made 7 years ago in Phase 2. Yeah, and they kept announcing more and more stuff for Phase 4, and I just go, don't care. I didn't care about any of the Disney Plus stuff. Didn't care. Didn't know who Shang-Chi was. Didn't know who the Eternals were. So, besides the Spider-Man movies, I mean, what's the next wave of anything from Marvel?
I haven't. Well, you got. I know you got the Hawkeye show coming.
That's
this
right.
Christmas.
How do you feel about that? What do you think about that?
I thought it was whatever. Yeah, I guess they're gonna do it. But then I saw the trailer and I think it looks cool, so I'm into it. Um, I think the trailer for. Did you see the trailer?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it looks good. Um, I think that's gonna be fun. I'm out of things to watch. Um, you know what I mean, kind of a deal. And I
Yep.
like having something superhero on the burner.
Well, and that was why Dune was such a pleasant surprise. So
Mm.
I have to go see that in the theater still.
Sorry. I had to clear myself up. But yeah, Hawkeye looks cool. Haley Steinfeld looks good in it. Now that's not his daughter. It's not going to be his daughter.
Right.
Like he's got his own Robin kind of a thing, and that's going to be his sidekick. I don't know whether or not she picks up the mantle and he dies or something. I hope not. Oh, Captain America 4.
Oh, with
Yeah,
Anthony Mackie.
Yep, Anthony Mackie will be Captain America.
Not
Watch
sure how-
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Nick.
I think okay. One, I like the Winter Soldier, and I think they could have done more with him. Anthony Mackie, he's okay, but I don't like how they try and treat Captain America like it's a mantle. Captain America's not a mantle. It's Steve Rogers is Captain America.
Yeah.
And you passed on the shield. Be like, I don't care if you pass on. You can give anybody a shield. Doesn't make him doesn't make him a superhero.
Well, yeah. They do address that though. He just does the best that he can, kind of a thing. But
Right.
he's I'm sorry.
Cut.
Cut. Yeah. Sorry about that. I got this nose is stuffy and I'm not getting a lot of oxygen to the old brain here. I swear I'm not tired though. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was good. I'll tell you what, it was pretty dramatic though. There wasn't a lot of levity to it. When you watched WandaVision, there was a lot of levity to that. But then when it got real, like when somebody saw through the illusion and tried to talk to her, you piss her off, and that was not a good idea. That was not a good idea. She faces off against like a whole platoon of soldiers at one point, walks right out of her world. I think WandaVision and Loki were the funnest, more fun adventures in the TV shows. Now the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is exactly what it sounds like. It's pretty serious, but it's a bro. You know what it is? It's Lethal Weapon.
Right.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was Lethal Weapon.
But not as funny.
Not at all as funny.
No Pesci. No Joe Pesci.
No. I mean, it's almost fair to say there wasn't maybe 8% levity in that, it was pretty serious, so, but good.
All right, Adam, let's start to wrap it up. Give your, out of 10, how many stars you giving the Eternals?
I'm giving them 7.
Same thing with 7. And I think that's about right, because even checking IMDb, and they have a nice breakdown of, how people voted for the stars. And I pretty much X'd out all the 1s and 10s. And if you look at that, everybody's giving it about between a 6 and an 8, which I think that's about averaged out to be about 7. I think that's about where it is. So it's a pleasant surprise. It is not your standard Marvel movie at all. It is not the formulaic standard movie that everybody is used to. And I think that's one of the things that scared a lot of people off. They got really ambitious with the Celestials, and hopefully after this I can stop saying Celestials, because it's a hard word to say sometimes when you're trying to say it a lot. So I'll be happy when we stop saying Celestials, and to make it sound stupid when I say it, but I thought it was a pleasant surprise. I enjoyed my movie going experience. So what else you have to say there?
I agree. I mean, I give it a solid 7. I enjoyed my movie going experience. I will see it again. What about watchability for you? How do you feel about watchability?
Watchability for me is a no. I think I got everything I needed out of it. That is one of the biggest things for me for a movie that I enjoy is how bad do I want to go see it. And like I said, it wasn't a bad movie, but it's just one of those you see it. For me, I saw it once and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. What about you?
Right. Me?
Yep.
I said that. Yeah, I want to see it at least one or two more times.
Okay.
You know, I'll see it. I might see it in the theater. Actually, I kind of think that ship has sailed now because I got to get my butt in gear and go see Last Night in Soho this weekend, or else it's going to be gone. There's only 2 showings left in a couple theaters now.
Right.
And then the following week, you know what's happening the following week?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
We're
We're gonna bring our kids into it.
But anyway, so I gave it a 7. Adam gave it a 7. Don't listen to us. Go check it out. Go into the movie with an open mind. That's the only thing I'll say. What's your final word, Adam?
Well, just a quick listen to us like all the time. You know, don't stop because we love you. And no,
I didn't
don't
mean,
take our word for it. I mean, for sure.
I didn't mean don't watch us. I want you guys to watch us, but
I know I'm just bringing levity to it. I'm stupid, you know me. I just, you know me and stupid jokes. But I think you should experience this movie for yourself. I think, unfortunately, that there are a lot of people who will go into it wanting to not like it and then not even like it. They won't give it the benefit of the doubt like you did. So that's unfortunate. And I think that their complaint will be, it wasn't like a Marvel movie.
it was boring.
Right.
Sorry.
If Marvel never makes another Marvel movie, the way they always have again, that would be fantastic. But anyway.
Well, I think there's a time and place for the formulaic Marvel movie.
Yeah, from 2008 to
right.
2020.
I mean, to introduce a potential franchise, you kind of got to break the mold just a little bit. I think that they did this.
Yeah, they did. It was a good movie, though. I highly recommend it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. And we are on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook and obviously YouTube. And we appreciate all you guys for watching and subscribing and liking. And if you guys like what we're doing here, give us a subscribe, give us a like, maybe even drop a comment, maybe even share.